You are watching Learn English with Shaukat Ansari. And before I proceed to the lesson, I would like to make a polite request that you subscribe, promote, and circulate this channel among your friends, among other learners, and among those who wish to brush up English for their academic purposes or specific purposes or to be used in daily life situations. I mean to become fluent in English. Okay. In this lesson, which I have made under consideration, and the topic is vocabulary improvement. My dear lovely viewers, most of the times you find that there are confusions in the usage of words in English. And in this special lesson, my focus is there, and I would like to concentrate on some words and the differences between them. You know, English as a language is full of synonyms, homophones, homonyms, and other confusing words that seem to make it a bit difficult to learn. But your practices, your determination, your dedication, your efforts matter much. Luckily, you can use the same 5 skills to improve your English vocabulary as you did when learning or acquiring your first language. And the skills are reading, listening, writing, watching, and conversing. As far as the English language skills are concerned, we focus on 4 skills: reading, writing, listening, and speaking. And we ask our students, our learners, that you focus at the same time on these 4 skills in order to make your English improved, enriched. And you must know, listening and reading are receptive skills. However, speaking and writing are productive. Through listening and through reading, you receive skills. You receive professional skills. You receive academic skills. You define your skills. I mean receptive skills. While speaking and writing are productive skills, through speaking and through writing, you show, you establish your productivity, your creativity, your influence and impact upon others. Just I have told you that in this lesson, a specific lesson, I am going to discuss on the differences between words. And I must acknowledge here for your benefits that in order to understand vocabulary or grab vocabulary, you must know what are parts of a speech and what are the uses of parts of a speech in the formulation of sentences. That's the first difference between weather and climate. two terms, weather and climate. We hear about weather and climate all the times. Most of us check the local weather forecast to plan our days. So we know about weather forecast. And climate change is certainly a hot topic in the news nowadays. There is, however, still a lot of confusion over the difference between the two. I mean, the difference between weather and climate. Weather, as a definition, practical definition, weather reflects short-term conditions of the atmosphere. What's the condition of atmosphere today, or what would be the condition of atmosphere in coming 3 hours or 4 hours or maybe 1 day or 2 days? It is weather that affects you or your circumstances or your conditions of leading a life. In other words, weather shows, weather reflects, establishes the fact regarding short-term conditions of the atmosphere. What's the condition of atmosphere right now? However, climate is the average daily weather of an extended period of time at a certain location. It means weather is a short-term conditions of atmosphere, and climate is the long-term or extended period of time. Climate is the atmospheric condition of a particular location over a long period of time. It takes time. It involves time. I repeat, climate is the atmospheric condition of a particular location over a long period. It means a climate is the average weather in a given area over a period of time. However, the weather can change drastically in a matter of hours or days. Days, within hours, the weather can change, can fluctuate. Maybe too much cold, maybe too much hot, maybe average, maybe rainy. So climate persists. However, weather changes, weather fluctuates. Now come to the another difference between the word advice and advice. The first word advice is pronounced as advise. However, the second word advice is pronounced as advice. Advise, advice, is a verb which means to recommend or to give useful information to someone or to counsel to someone. The S in this word advice sounds like z, advise, okay, and it is a verb. Synonyms of to advise are to give suggestions, to counsel, or to notify, and this advice is verb. However, advice, advice, is a noun, and here C of advice, CE, advice, sounds as sir. So advice, advice, it's a verb. Advice, advice is a noun. Guidance, counsel, direction are synonyms of advice. Guidance, counsel, and direction, these are nouns. And a person who gives advice formally or on a regular basis is an advisor or an advisor, advisor or adviser. You can use either of these two. So the person who gives advice, the person who supplies advice is advisor. Now the question is, advice, advice is a noun and it can be used in singular form or plural form as well. How can be it changed into plural? We cannot say advice, one advice or two advices. No, it cannot be changed like this into plural. Advice is advice. But suppose if you make advice into units of measurement and you make it pluralized, in that case you use pieces of advice or words of advice, like my father gave me pieces of advice, my teacher gave me beautiful words of advice. But don't say advices. One example in sentence and you can find the difference here. Here, advise, advise. It's a verb. After subject I, this has been used as verb 1. I advise you to take my grammar advice. Here, advice, this is a noun. So in this one example, in this one sentence, I have used both words advise and advice simultaneously. I repeat, the S of advice sounds like the and C of advice sounds like sir. Okay. Now come to third difference between affect and effect. AFFECT and EFFECT, affect. Affect and effect are easy to mix up. Affect is usually a verb meaning to produce an effect upon or to influence someone, as in this sentence, the weather affected his mood. His behavior affects my mood, affects my attitude to life. Effect is usually a noun, EFFECT, meaning a change that results when something is done or happens. As in this example, I can cite this example. Computers have had a huge effect on our life. Science has got an immense effect on our lives. Effect, EFFECT. Affect is a verb, AFFECT. However, effect, EFFECT, is a noun. Affect is usually a verb. I repeat for your understanding. Affect is usually a verb and it means to impact or change. However, effect is usually a noun and effect is the result of a change. You can observe the difference.